question. Canelo Vargas. So let's see what happens. Boom, boom, boom. I got no followers yet. Damn, people don't like me. Damn.
No one likes you. You're too controversial.
I love being controversial.
People don't like what you say.
Okay.
People don't like what you say.
Ferenzi, 55, just joined up. Oh, damn.
What were you saying about Felix Trinidad?
Man, I'm just going to say these fighters nowadays are lucky that he's not around. He was such a devastating puncher.
Felix Trinidad?
Oh, hell yeah. I love Felix Trinidad. I think I grew up watching him, so, you know, he went up from welterweight to junior welterweight to middleweight. You know, Bernard, his winning streak stopped at Bernard Hopkins, you know, right after 9/11. So it was a good fight, but he was just walking through guys. So yeah.
So today you posted up a video.
Yeah.
On your Facebook.
It
was round 2. He said nice V-neck. Are those new shirts?
No, they're old.
Oh, are they?
They're old shirts,
okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to get more made. So
nice.
That was fun. Oh, okay.
I gotta call you out, man.
Who's calling me out?
I'm calling you out.
Oh, you calling me out?
You're saying Canelo is the new James Toney? Is that what you're saying?
You know, I don't think he's gonna be. He's that finesse as James. I don't think he's that elusive as James. I think James is more refined, more. He has more. He's more elusive, more complete than Canelo, in my opinion. I think Canelo has. I think he doesn't have the smoothness that James brought to the table. This is dead. But he has a similarity.
James was able to, you know, box going back. He was
going back, coming forward. You know, yeah.
Canelo doesn't really box going backwards.
No, but Canelo does better when you back him up.
When you back him up.
Yeah, when you back him up. He can't. He doesn't have really a good system in going forward. He has a hard. He's not really an aggressive. He's more like a counter puncher. So that's what I see in him. I don't see him being really an aggressive fighter.
All right, so you posted up a video today on your Facebook.
Yeah.
It was round 2. I think it was the last 30 seconds of round 2 of Brooks versus Triple G.
Yeah.
Was it London? I think it was.
Yeah, London.
It was in London.
Yeah.
And you said that showed that
he exposed him.
That he was exposed. So can you elaborate on what you meant by exposed?
When I say exposed, that he did stun them. Regardless of Triple J may say that he wasn't hurt. I thought he was. If he wasn't hurt, he was stunned. And you know the uppercuts, he just didn't follow it up with a right hand when he threw the left uppercut or the right uppercut from time to time, and he shook them a few times. You saw Triple G being defensive and catching those shots, and that made Triple G really hit them. You didn't see Triple G blocking and countering, blocking and trying to shoot right back. I think he was a little bit more hurt than stunned, in my opinion. Because if you feel your opponent doesn't really hurt you, you're gonna fight right back. You know, especially in that type of pace. If you call yourself the most, if they call him the most feared fighter and the most dangerous fighter, I think you need to go out out on a limb, especially if you're gonna prove your critics, in my opinion.
I mean, it's boxing, man. You're gonna get hit.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna eat a punch here and there. You know,
yes.
At the end of the day, you know, he might have felt his power. I agree with you. I think he was stunned. I think he wasn't expecting that. I think, like everyone else, I think he was expecting just to walk into that ring and walk all over Brooks.
You know, going up 2 weight divisions from one fight to the next, that's a big risk.
Right.
You know, he wasn't a full-fledged middleweight. See, fighters will grow to become middleweight. They don't just jump 2 weight divisions to fight.
Right.
You know, give him the credit. That's when we were talking the other day about making certain business moves. That was a business move for Brooke. Now Showtime picked him up, and now they're trying to get him in big fights. So now to the American media,
right.
The more American public.
Yeah, but going back to GGG, I mean, like we said, like we agreed, he got stunned, but you know he recovered well. A couple rounds later,
he won the fight, yes. But the thing, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
When you're supposed, that's the only game plan he had. It was to overwhelm overwhelmed.
And it worked.
And it worked.
Eventually
But did he do it against Jacob? He hesitated. Because he can't really do it with a full-fledged middleweight. You know, his style is being aggressive. Don't get me wrong, that is his style. Coming aggressive, being in there. But there were times that he hesitated and really trained up with Jacob. Those are the two fights that I see that Triple G was really exposed. I think he won. I think he lost to Jacob's fight, regardless of what people may say. You know, he dropped Jacobs. Oh well, fighters could win fights, and if they get dropped once or twice. Marquez got a draw fighting Pacquiao. Got dropped 3 times in the first fight and came with a draw. That tells you that he came in winning most of the rounds. But yet again, you know, that's judges scoring fights.
So do you think Canelo can do what Brooks and
Okay. I'm gonna use this fight as an example. People may not remember because it's before most of the youth. You know, I don't think a lot of the youth today watch fights enough on YouTube, since everything's so much accessible in the internet. I look at this fight versus Iran Barkley and James Toney. I know I've used that fight as an example. Iran Barkley being Triple G and Canelo being James Toney, but I'm not gonna say it. Very, very similar in style, meaning the counterpuncher, meaning James Toney, Canelo, and the aggressive, you know, at that time was super middleweight, aggressive champion, meaning Iran Barkley being Triple G. But I don't think Golovkin is going to be really, because Iran Barkley was in your face, was in your grill, trading shots, getting hit, and constantly coming. I don't see that in Triple G. I don't see him being that brave. Now, I'm not going to say Canelo's going to be freaking as smooth and elusive and consistent as James Toney. I'm not going to say that, but I see him being a little bit more consistent, more throwing more combinations, really making little moves, making Golovkin miss and pay.
Do you think Canelo will leave that game plan? Is there a possibility of him leaving the game plan? Say Triple G gets him with a couple shots, and then you know he's a Mexican fighter. He's got a lot of pride.
Who has a Mexican fighter? Yeah,
Canelo's a Mexican fighter.
Yeah, Canelo. Yeah, he is a Mexican.
He's got a lot of pride.
He's still going to put a fight on because he's willing to shut the critics up. Since nobody really gives him any credit. Yes, he made Chavez go up to 64, but you know, if I was a business person and having a fighter fight most of his career at 154, jumping to 168, you must be crazy. I don't think nobody is stupid enough to make that risk. If the money is right, maybe people will do it. But in this side, it was Chavez making the move down to 164.5. You know, that was more beneficial for Chavez than Canelo. And you know the aftermath, what happened with Chavez after the fight. So I'm gonna leave it as that.
Yeah, man.
There's a lot of
that's a joke.
There's a lot of controversy behind that fight with Chavez, not Canelo. Canelo did exactly what he needed to do.
Right, but now he's gonna have to do that again for another 12 rounds against a legitimate
middleweight
contender.
And they're gonna fight
middleweight at 160.
The legitimate champion.
Legitimate champion.
That's how they call him. They think that he's the main guy.
I mean, he is a legitimate champion.
Yeah, you can't take nothing away from Triple G. But
can he do that 12 rounds against GGG?
I think so.
He's gonna have to do it, right?
No,
he doesn't have to do it.
He will do it, and trust me, and trust me. You know, I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth. I could expect a late stoppage, a decision, late stoppage for Canelo.
Has Canelo had a late stoppage in his career? Or a late knockout? I'm not too familiar.
Canelo? No, I don't think he has. But remember this: it's always once in a lifetime. You know, Canelo will show his pride. Jacob really doesn't have that heart, that aggressiveness to really showcase what Canelo made.
I think that was missing in the Jacobs fight. I think that's why he didn't get it, because I don't think he was aggressive enough.
Jacob was more defensive. He wasn't really willing to risk a lot. You know, he did enough. I believe he won the fight, but he did enough to basically pull out the win, even though he didn't get it. But at the same time, I don't see Canelo. I think Canelo is going on a limb right here. I think he's trying to prove something. to the crowd, to the media, since everybody's very critical. Everybody's such an expert. Everybody's such an expert. You know, I don't see people really being in gyms.
And no one.
I'm in the gym every day. I work with people. I train kids. I'm developing fighters. I've been watching fighting since the age of 9. You know, grew up watching. Been around top-rated fighters since the age of 13. You know, I've been around the whole game for 20 plus years. You know, you can't. You know, and I'm not gonna say that I know it all, but I've experienced enough to know what is going on, what is happening. It's not rocket science to me. I'm been around it. You know, unfortunately, I didn't have the type of exposure most people get, but it's not about that. It's about talking fact, speaking the truth. Like I said, we all prove our self-worthiness. We all sometimes put our foot in our mouth. Sometimes things don't come out how we predict. But I'm gonna go out on a limb. I've always been pretty accurate about certain fighters, what they can do, what they're capable of showcasing in the events, in their fights. But that's my opinion. You know, anybody could challenge me on an opinion. I won't disagree with it. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion.
All right, man. So let's go to the bag. Let's see what. Let's get technical. Let's get visual.
Yeah, let's get technical. Nobody wants to be my opponent.
No,
so I gotta show them.
So okay, let's do Canelo first. Let's do Canelo.
Canelo's just gonna be right here, really trying to. He's really gonna let Triple G come in. He's not gonna come to him. He's just gonna be testing him out. The only thing is, if Triple G comes in with the aggressive, of course he's gonna be a little bit more mobile, coming in with the move. Maybe even smother him, trying to push him off. But depending on Triple G's power and strength, that could be the biggest question mark in my view. Because since they say that he's such a big, devastating puncher, that is the biggest question mark in my view in his arsenal. Because realistically, he doesn't really bring anything to the table. You know, Canelo has a lot of good little movement, and makes the guys miss. He throws a little power. He sets up a lot of things. Comes in with counter punches. Boom, boom. Makes this, boom, boom. That's one thing. You constantly use the jab to set everything up. And one thing I know, if Triple G comes in protecting himself, he's gonna be setting up. Canelo's gonna be setting up that jab, coming with the overhand right and left hook to the left. That's what I see him constantly do. Now, in the other case, Triple G, what he needs to do, he basically really needs to impose his size and will. Is he gonna help? I don't know. Is Canelo really a devastating puncher? We're waiting. We're gonna see. We're gonna find out. But if Canelo is, and I do believe he's a hard puncher, as a middleweight, we don't have a clue. But I think you will still carry that weight. People always question Canelo's consistency and not being in stamina and not being active the whole time. What I see Triple G really is pulling his will, coming at him. And I don't really see that really coming in the first round. But I'm gonna go showcase what he did against Brook. He had to impose his will against a smaller fighter. And he hurt Brook in the first round. Caught him with a good left hook to the liver, left to the head. The minute he had Brook hurt, Brook held on, pushed him out, and tried to work him. But remember this. Canelo will come in with the upper. He needs to be aware that he's not really reaching forward and not really eating those uppercuts. Because if you look at the Chavez-Canelo fight, Canelo was basically waiting on the ropes, was baiting Chavez in. And the minute he threw that right uppercut, Chavez didn't want no more part of it. And that's what Canelo's quick enough to do he did a little rock move towards Chavez that hit him with the right hand. And that's one thing Triple G cannot be lazy with that jab. If he's lazy, he's going to be seeing a lot of overhand rights or rock right hands by Canelo.
What do you mean by lazy?
Meaning lazy the jab, then you throw the jab from in, and then you bring it slow. So you got to be pop, pop. And I don't see Triple G being that fast. So I just see him, boom. He just really pawing with the jab. Pawing with the jab. Trying to lower that right hand and send up that left hook to the liver. That's what I see Triple G doing. Canelo's really going to be very elusive with his upper body because he doesn't have the best footwork. But he has enough, basically, movement to really give him angles and come in and certain angles.
That's where he does have time. That's what Canelo really does. Or I mean, GGG does have trouble with angles and speed, which is what.
And he hasn't faced enough.
He hasn't faced enough.
The last two
fighters like that.
The last two opponents.
Right.
So that's what I see. So realistically, there's not really thing any special that Triple G brings. Man, he's coming forward and really trying to impose his will, coming with the overhand right and setting that right hand for the left hook to the liver, maybe left hook on top. That he hurt Brook and he caught Jacobs a few times. Canelo also has that. I think Canelo is a little smarter. What he did against Khan, constantly working him, touching him under. Until the minute he did a mistake, boom, he catch him with overhand right. So Canelo has more of a game plan. What I noticed in his game, in his fight game, while Golovkin is only his will and his fortitude. The only thing that Golovkin may start using a lot more might be his jab.
Which he did in Lemieux.
In Lemieux's fight. Constantly working the jab. But Lemieux is a stationary target. Stays in front of him, gets hit. Canelo's constantly going to be moving, turning, coming up the middle. Every single time. Boom. Working every shot up the middle.
I think the key for Canelo is going to be the uppercut.
The uppercut and the upper body movement. That's what I see. Now, don't try to let Golovkin really land that right hand, because he did get caught a few times against Cotto. And remember this, Cotto wasn't a devastating puncher as people say that Golovkin is. But we just gotta wait and see until the fight arrives.
All right, George.
My
Appreciate your analysis. That's top notch.
Any questions? I don't see any questions.
World class.
Hey, I tried to do my best.
Right there, man. There's a video on YouTube, if people don't know, of George Diaz imitating other fighters.
Hey, I try.
We're gonna have to post up a link one of these days, or we're gonna have to redo the video and show people that you're the real deal.
I try. So we'll see what anybody has any questions. I don't gotta see.
Gervonta Davis versus Walsh this weekend.
Oh, well, that's an interesting fight. You know, Gervonta Davis is one of Mayweather's new stable fighters that he has in his promotion. It's gonna be an interesting fight. You know, I can't really say much about Walsh. I don't really know too much about him, but at the same time, we just gotta wait and see.
All right, George. I think that's it for this week. And you know, we'll be here talking about the Canelo GGG fight.
That's what everybody's talking about.
For months to come. There's plenty of time for us to analyze it even more. All right, appreciate your time. We'll see you next week, George.
All right, for sure.